Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Suzanne Broadbent. I'm the worship associate today. I am a 76-year-old white female. I'm wearing a green jacket with a white scarf that has all the spring colors in it: pink, green, yellow, etc. Would like to welcome everyone this morning to First Unitarian of Oklahoma City, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We first of all want to thank our team of volunteers and staff that make Sunday morning service possible. They get here early and they work hard. Thank you very much. And we want to welcome those who are joining us online on YouTube. We would like for you to introduce yourselves in the chat, if you would please. Tell us whether you're in Oklahoma City, and if you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood, what part of town, and if you're not, what city are you viewing us from? Now, we would suggest that you enhance your experience here at 1UC by checking in on your favorite social media platform to share your experiences here at 1UC. Not right now. I'm getting ready to tell you now, silence your mobile phones. You can check in first, I suppose. So we have a lot going on at First Unitarian, of course. I just want to call your attention to a couple of announcements. We're starting something new today. It's called Reflections on the Worship Service, and it will be at 12:15 in the Corley Commons, which is in the basement. After church on today, we will begin a time to reflect on the worship service. And you can come prepared to share something from the service that stood out to you, something you appreciated, or a question that came up for you. From there, we continue to talk about what we heard, how we might think about it, and what we might do about it. So join those of you who want to have this conversation. Join Rebecca Schaller in the Corley Commons after the church service ends. It'll start at 12:15. And next Sunday is the all-church potluck. So remember to bring your dishes that you want to share, and vegan, vegetarian, or gluten-free dishes are especially appreciated. It's a free intergenerational event for the community. If you are not on our email list, we would like for you to use the QR code to sign up. And if you are online already, you can sign up under the newcomers section on our website. So now, let's take a short moment to greet each other and share our welcome, and turn to the folks closest to you, if you could, and say hi and welcome, and we love you. Yeah, whatever. All right, thank you for helping to create a warm welcome here in the community. After the service, we urge you to stick around and continue your conversation, and maybe make some new friends in Daniel Hall, where we have coffee and some snacks set up. I do want to call one more thing to your attention in your order of service. There are questions for coffee hour, and there are new questions each week that will help you deepen your engagement with the morning's topic and start a conversation with someone, perhaps someone you don't already know. The flowers on the altar table this morning were donated by Scott Forbes in honor of Jane Forbes, a very good mom. And now it is time to light our chalice. For those of you at home, we would encourage you to light a candle as the chalice as we begin our worship hour. Our chalice here in the sanctuary today is lit by Becky Talent, a longtime member of the church, one of the first friendly faces I saw when I came to church for the first time, a past president of the congregation, and a beautiful member of the choir. We light our chalice in Midtown Oklahoma City on land that was home to first Americans, including the Apache, Caddo, and Wichita, on land that was taken from the Muskogee and Seminole and other removed and relocated peoples. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And now join me in reciting the covenant of our church, please. It's in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Kent. I'm a tallish, middle-aged white man. I have a clean-shaven face, brown curly hair, and I use he, him pronouns. Welcome. It is okay to be a little tired of change. It's okay to feel weary of resiliency and wholeness and learning and growth and all those things we're supposed to be doing. It's okay to yearn for rest, to be a little grouchy, especially with an hour less sleep this morning. And all our ordinary human ways of being that we are. Let this morning be a reminder that you are loved. Let our time together soothe what is restless in you. May you be comforted in knowing that whatever you are feeling today and other days, you are not alone. You are never alone. Come, let us join in our time of worship together. Our opening hymn this morning is Be That Guide. It's number 124 in your gray hymnals. I'm gonna have Kate play this through once and then we'll join in singing, but please rise in body or in spirit to sing.
Be that guide who love sustains, rise above the
invite you to join me for just a short moment of prayer or meditation or whatever you call that practice of connecting with the sacred. Lao Tzu famously said, "If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart." Dear God, Spirit of life and renewal, help us find meaning in this small part we play in the bigger picture. Help us remember that the peace and love we cultivate in our corner of the web, here, today and tomorrow and every day, is part of a bigger system than we can imagine. May we be a part of building the peace that is possible. May it be so. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins. I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. My pronouns are he, him. I'm wearing rainbow glasses and a pink shirt today. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to our scouting troop. It's Girl Scout Sunday, and they helped us. Yay, Girl Scouts! And I want to thank them for passing out these Legos that you got in. So be honest, if I/we/the Girl Scouts handed you one Lego, just one, would you be that excited? I mean, it's fine. It's a Lego, it's got potential, but by itself, it's not exactly a spaceship or a castle or a chalice. It's just a little plastic rectangle. So now I need your help with our message today. Every time I hold up this single Lego, I want you to say, "It's just one." So let's practice. It's just one. All right. So one Lego. It's just one. One pledge. It's just one. 1 hour volunteered. It's just one. And yet, when you snap one Lego to another Lego, something changes. Suddenly, it's not just one. It's the beginning of something. And when you add another and another and another, you don't just have plastic rectangles anymore. You have walls, you have towers, you have possibilities. Now, church is a lot like that. If only one person pledged, it's just one. If only one family showed up, it's just one. If only one person brought snacks to youth group, well, that would be tragic. But when all of us bring what we can, then something beautiful happens. So now here's the truth. Not all Legos are the same. Some are big flat pieces. Some are tiny little connector dots. Some are long, some are short. Some are fancy, weird pieces. You're not even sure what they're for until suddenly they're exactly what you needed for that spaceship. That's us. Some of us can give a lot financially right now. Some of us can give a little. Some of us are in a season where money is tight, and that is real and okay. But generosity isn't only money. Some people bring time. Some people bring music. Some people bring spreadsheets. Some people bring hugs. Some people bring casseroles. Some bring the ability to fix the copier without crying, which we need more of. Some people may not be able to hand over a Lego, but they are the master builders. They're the ones who say, "Hey, snap that one right there." Stewardship is not about equal giving. It's about equal belonging. It's about saying, "I care about this thing we are building together." Because what are we building? We're building a place where kids can ask big questions. We're building a place where youth can be fully themselves, perhaps the only place in Oklahoma City where they can. We're building a place where adults can find courage when life gets hard. And we're building a place that practices love on purpose. So that doesn't just happen with just one. It happens because every single one of us brings our Lego. So today I want you to hold this Lego we gave you in your hand. You'll be taking it home with you to remember this by. And remember, by itself, it's just one. But together, it's a sanctuary. It's community. It's possibility. It's love made visible. And that is never just one. Amen. So now is the time in our service where we sing our children and youth and volunteers off to their religious exploration clubs. We have art and drama club today and games club. Please join me in singing Go Now in Peace. Is that correct? I don't have the order of service. Yes, Go Now in Peace. The words are in your order of service.
Well, that's a hard act to follow, but I'll try. One of the, bring my mic down. How about this? Is that better? Okay, thank you. One of the duties of the worship associate is to introduce the theme of the service, and sometimes that's the theme of the month. This theme today is paying attention. So the worship associate is to provide a few remarks and what we call a reflection on the theme of the day. So here are some thoughts I had on paying attention. One of the senior partners in a law firm where I worked delighted in talking about the times when he was young and just starting out by saying, "I was so broke, I couldn't even pay attention." Now, like a lot of word plays, this one reflects some realities. We know that children whose families are stressed financially, who come to school hungry, who face evictions, who are surrounded by violence, cannot concentrate or pay attention in class. And there are other ways we can be broke or broken as well. When we are whipsawed by lies, power grabs, violence, coarseness, meanness, cruelty, assaults on our economy, and intellectual dishonesty, we will often find ourselves consumed by worry, exhaustion, and anger. In this state of mind, we can find ourselves so broken we cannot pay attention. It is in these times that we must pay attention, though, certainly to what's going on, but more important, we must pay attention to our spirits, our attitudes, and our thoughts. We must pay attention to the love that we have to give and to receive. We must pay attention to the power we have through truth and honesty and principles. We must pay attention to the opportunities we have to counteract hatefulness and evil through kindness and courage and being a calm presence. And we must not let pass without our attention those moments of joy, the sunlight on a monarch butterfly's wings, the sound of a grandchild's voice. Our faith values and draws on many religious traditions and their writings and rituals. One of those is the Judeo-Christian tradition. Having grown up in that religion, I am steeped in its teachings and often find truth and meaning in some of those texts. In the context of what is worth paying attention to, I often discover a verse in the Christian text, Philippians 4:8, running through my head. In the King James Version, which seems poetic, these words resonate. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. If there be any virtue and there be any praise, think on these things. May it be so. And now it is time for our offertory. Generosity is a spiritual practice that we embrace every Sunday when we take an offering. All the cash and designated checks are distributed directly to an external nonprofit organization bringing good work into the world. This month, our offering supports Freedom Oklahoma. Freedom Oklahoma advocates and organizes across Oklahoma and among the 39 sovereign tribal nations to build a future where all two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and gender-expansive people have the safety, resources, and community to thrive. 2S LGBTQ people have been under attack on this land since settlers colonized at first arrived. That history is at the front of Freedom Oklahoma's work. They believe it is critical to build power and engage in education to achieve collective, community-based safety. They fight harmful policy attempts while searching for opportunities to build and move forward in community. And they say, because we live in abundance, we can share. So as we enjoy our offertory music, the ushers will pass the offering plate in the sanctuary. For those online, you can make a gift through the One UC website or send a check to First Unitarian with Change for Change in the memo line. Would the ushers please come forward and receive the offering? And let's remember these words that one of our former ministers said every Sunday at offering collection. If there be any good I can do or kindness I can show, let me do it now, for I shall not pass this way again. as most of you know, this is the time that we're in our pledge drive to raise the funds that we need to keep the church going for another year and to not only keep going, but to thrive, to prosper. So I have a note here from Sandra Flansburg, who is president of the congregation and is chairing the pledge drive, to bring you up to date where we are. So she says, well, let's rah-rah celebrate this week. We seem to be doing pretty well. We are 3/4 of our way through the pledge drive, and 2/3 of our expected pledgers have submitted their pledges. Thank you so much if you've done that. And for those 60 families or individuals who haven't yet submitted your pledge, we would be so grateful if you could do that today or this week. You can do that through the QR code. I believe there's one on the back of your service, order of service, and there will be a stewardship table set up in Daniel Hall during coffee hour. So this year, one of the strategies is to deal with the organizations within the church to try to get 100% participation. Several have already, and here are 4 more. The Family Ministry Committee, the Gardening Covenant Group, the Health, Safety, and Security Committee, and the Worship Associates. So there are a number of groups that have reached this 100% pledging. We want to see how many more groups can reach that goal by next Sunday. And if you think your group has reached that goal, tell Sandra, and she'd love to recognize you. So, Sandra says, let's finish strong and keep the chalice lit. Please give these groups and everyone who's pledged and going to pledge a round of applause. And this morning, to bolster our thinking about pledging and why we pledge and what we get from this church, is our pledge testimonial by Jeff Pixley. Jeff.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Pixley. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a middle-aged white man with gray hair and a blue shirt. I'm also wearing government-issued glasses that look like they might just have a fake nose attached to them. No, in fact, this is my real nose. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. These glasses were provided to me free of charge from the government-issued provider of my health care. They rest atop a nose that was saved by early cancer screening and skin cancer surgery that cost me $0.00. How can I complain? I'm able to read my notes today because other people invested in me. The American people have collectively decided that my health care is worth investing in, even as a retiree who no longer directly contributes to our national defense. I see a connection here with the work of this church and my role in it. Over my 35 years of military service, Andrea and I moved 14 times, and although we came to Unitarian Universalism later in my career, our UU church life became a critical part of our nomadic lifestyle. From Columbia, South Carolina, to San Antonio, to Tucson, to Washington, D.C., and even briefly Anchorage, Alaska. In each of our previous 5 UU churches, we joined knowing we would only be passing through. In South Carolina and San Antonio, our kids benefited from the outstanding youth education programs and community found in RE. And Andrea and I rapidly and repeatedly built bonds over shared values and a common desire to make our communities and country better. This was true in every church, large and small. Despite being perpetual newcomers and having a plausible excuse for not committing to the sustainment and growth of each congregation, we joined and pledged to each one. Early on, it wasn't much, but as our kids got older and promotions at work softened the sting of generous giving, our pledges grew with each passing year. When we became empty nesters and our 3 kids left the church to live their lives around the world, we continued our financial sustainment because we knew UU programs benefiting our community and other people's kids were just like we were supported early in our journey when we had less to offer. I'm relieved to be standing here today in our final UU church. I've retired and have planted our flag in Norman, having experienced our final, mercifully, first Sunday and new member orientation, which I could probably give at this point in UU. Now that I'm on a somewhat reduced and very fixed income, you might think we'd be tempted to reduce our pledge amount. No, I only need watch the nightly news to realize that our continued investment in this community is more important than ever. We are committed to living up to our shared covenant and to help one another in this struggling state and our imperiled nation. Like the millions of anonymous Americans who put food on my family's table and provided for us because of my work, Andrea and I see the work of this congregation as a mission of equal importance. From keeping the organ operational to HVAC upgrades, from RE to a living wage for every paid staff member, the importance of keeping First UC financially stable cannot be overstated. Our mission is vital, and I know my sustained giving is needed, so it's clear to me we have a duty to give back that is plain, well, it's as plain as the nose on my face. It's not just one.
Thank you, Jeff. Our reading this morning is called Just Be Here With Me. It's a poem in the form of a letter. Morgan Day Cecil writes, Just be here with me. Signed, the moon, the stars, your still hot cup of coffee, your daughter, your son, your spouse, your heart, the green grass, the wild flowers, the waters you long to swim in, the color yellow, the color blue, your favorite poem, your favorite blanket, the wind in your hair, the waves on the ocean, the mountain air, your dad, your mom, the rain, the ice cream cone, butter sizzling with garlic in the frying pan, the grocery clerk with sad, kind eyes, postcards waiting to be sent, the photo album, your grandmother's rosary, your favorite song, ink and paper, your best friend, the money in your wallet, the fork in your hand, brushes and paint, downward-facing dog, the color turquoise, the almost invisible shade of pink, God, the skyline, the earth beneath your feet, a hammock, the shade of a giant tree, this moment, right here, now. Your bones, your belly laugh, your breath, your breath, your breath. Here ends our reading. Would you join me for just a couple of seconds of silence? You might call it meditation or just settling your heart and mind. If you feel comfortable, let your eyes gently close. And perhaps following our reading, just settle into being present to your breath. Namaste. Amen. Shalom and blessed be. I learned this week that in North Carolina, there's a memorial called the Cherokee Eternal Flame. The Cherokee Nation traditionally maintained a sacred fire at the seat of its government. Some of you might be scratching your heads, wondering, why is the Cherokee Flame in North Carolina? Isn't the Cherokee Nation here in Oklahoma? The Eternal Flame Memorial represents the enduring spirit of the Cherokee people, a bridge between the past and the present. In 1831, during the Trail of Tears, legend holds that a humble ember was carried from the Cherokees' traditional homeland in North Carolina here to Oklahoma. The ember of the fire was used to build a new fire, which was formed with the remnants of the past. It's a powerful legend and symbol, but to fully understand the depth of the flame, we turn to an older story. As Cherokee writer Sean Sikora writes, a time when humans were few and others were many, a time when the whispers of the winds, trees, and animals could be sung and heard. The Cherokee creation myth tells us that in the beginning there was no fire and the earth was cold until the thunderers sent their lightning to set fire to the bottom of a hollow sycamore tree that grew out on an island. The animals noticed the smoke coming up and they realized there must be fire out there, but it was a long way off in the water. So they came together to make a plan. First, the council sent Raven, a strong flyer. Raven made it there and landed on the sycamore tree, but the heat scorched his feathers black, so he flew back without any fire. Next, Screech Owl flew over, but when he looked down into the hollow trunk, a blast of hot air came up and nearly burned out his eyes. And his eyes are red to this day of the Screech Owl. Hoot Owl and Horn Owl were the next to try. They ended up getting so much ash that there is ash and white on the tip of their wings to this very day. The council then sent the snakes, who were choked by the smoke. At the next council, all the animals showed up giving excuses about why they couldn't make it or even try. But finally, the water spider volunteered. The other animals thought it was a little absurd. They had their doubts. "I'll manage," she said. So the water spider spun her thread into a tiny bowl on her back and crossed over the water to the island where its tree was burning. She collected a tiny little coal of fire in her tiny basket and then skittered back to the other animals. Since that day, we have had fire as a resource, as a gift from the animals. For the Cherokee people, this storied history endows the flame with profound symbolism of courage and community and fortitude. Now, An eternal flame is a prominent symbol in a lot of different faith traditions. They show up in synagogues and Zoroastrian temples. Many of you are familiar from your Catholic or Lutheran churches of your past that they use a sanctuary lamp to indicate the real presence of Christ when the elements of communion are there, the ones that have been blessed. This year, at First Unitarian, our pledge campaign has a tagline, "Keep the chalice lit." Now, in all honesty, the stewardship committee stumbled onto that theme in a very casual conversation on Zoom. But it turns out to be a very powerful resource and symbol. These days, we're way less aware of the attention required to keep a fire going. I mean, we have pilot lights in our homes and electric heating. But tending to actual fire takes constant care. Not every second, but you can't turn your back on it for too long. Not so long ago, the only way to keep from waking up in the morning in a very cold home was for someone to wake up in the middle of the night a couple of times to add more fuel to that fire. It wasn't horribly difficult, but it took attention. Here, too, we tend to our chalice flame consistently, not just with the checks we write. We also give our attention through the meetings we attend, the calls we make to friends and to newcomers, the prayers we say, and the nurturing of our neighbors and children. All that effort, the little things that happen every day and many nights, is part of tending to that fire. Another way we tend to the fire that is a great metaphor for our generosity is that a fire really thrives with a constant, stable source of fuel. We're not looking for explosions. We also don't want to starve it till it's down to its coals and takes a great deal of energy to get going again. Sustaining a healthy church organization is also about having a constant, adequate supply of resources. And that's what pledging is all about. That's why we ask about your intentions so that we can plan a reasonable budget for the next year that's reliable. Finally, I think the best way that I see our support of the congregation as keeping a chalice lit is the function that fire itself serves. This light of ours is valuable mostly in relationship to other things. The goodness of light lies in illuminating something else. Or perhaps it shines as a beacon to guide travelers towards safety or away from danger. The value of fire is in providing warmth to those in need, or cooking food, or gathering community together. Fire and light on their own aren't so tremendous. They find their meaning and purpose in relationship. And so it is with the light of our chalice, the flame that we work so hard to sustain. We are not here to have the tallest steeple in Oklahoma City. We are not here so that the Board of Trustees will have something to do on the fourth Tuesday of every month. We don't exist just for the sake of an institution. We exist to shine a light on the sacred, to sustain this flame, to gather our neighbors and loved ones in mutually supportive community. We nurture this flame as a bright symbol that the religious right does not exclusively own faith or moral authority. We keep our chalice lit as a symbol of love and hope in a state that is really, really scary for a lot of people a lot of the time. We tend to this flame not for its own sake or for an institution, but because this institution offers a tremendous light to shine on other things that are invaluable. This week I was looking around for an inspiring story to tell you about how generosity had been important in our Unitarian Universalist history, some great feat that had been accomplished. What I found is that we have our own story right here. I had a hunch, but I wanted to crunch the numbers myself this week. I found this is an incredibly generous congregation. I don't mean to this institution, I mean to our wider community. We don't tell this story well or very often. Our church organizes a great deal of giving to the wider community. I want to celebrate with you a little bit, and it's okay to feel good about giving. I want us all to feel good about giving in the ways that we are able. That's not prideful. We give as we are able because it's the right thing to do, and that feels good. Many of you know that we pay annual dues to Voice each year. Voice is a coalition of other churches and nonprofits and schools that join forces to address issues that are affecting Oklahoma City families. We give about 1% of our budget to Voice, which is a little over $5,000 annually. That's to work on things like education reform and immigration justice and affordability, really concrete issues here in Oklahoma City. That's about $5,000 a year. At Christmas this year, I was blown away by the toy drive to help families that are involved in the drug court system here in the city. It's hard to quantify that because those are a lot of in-kind donations, but I would guess the program raises or spends in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $10,000 a year for local families. Then there's the minister's discretionary fund, which I get a much closer view of. We give around $10,000 a year to individuals in need. That looks like paying people's rent when they're facing evictions. It looks like paying light bills and phone bills and paying for gas. It has included helping a family move to another state where they can get appropriate health care for their transgender children. This is life-saving generosity. We also support our broader Unitarian Universalist tradition. As a leading congregation, we contribute around $20,000 to our denomination annually. There is no bill or requirement, but in covenant with our sister congregations, we choose to pay our fair share. And finally, this is the piece of generosity that we practice every Sunday. We just did it a few minutes ago. Our offering, you know, each Sunday goes to support another organization doing good work in the world. We call it Change for Change. In 2025, we gave $24,260 to other organizations. That is incredible generosity for an institution of this size. $5,000 to Voice, $10,000 in Christmas gifts for families in need, another $10,000 directly to individuals through the minister's discretionary fund, $20,000 to support our denomination, $24,000 to other organizations doing amazing work. I imagine more than one member of the finance working group is thinking, don't tell them we give all that away. First of all, I don't think of it as giving money away. We think of it as investing in our values. Second, I tend to believe in the Russian nesting doll theory of behavior, or as Lao Tzu puts it, if there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities, and so on and so on. The generosity of this church is a glorious echo of the generous spirit of our members. And that is good news worth celebrating. Now, the celebratory tone of this sermon may seem out of touch with the wider socio-political moment. The expanding war in the Middle East is just the latest addition to a litany of death-dealing choices by our United States government in recent months. I could wax poetic or package that reality in satire to mitigate some of the feelings and the impact, but I don't have the time or the energy for that today. The picture is really grim, globally and in our state. And I know you know that. You are paying attention. Our theme in worship for this month is paying attention, as Suzanne reminded us. In many ways, paying attention is a form of generosity. It's a limited but powerful resource that we all have, and it matters how we invest that attention. We're told the concept of give a person a fish and they eat for a day, teach a person to fish and they eat for a lifetime. Well, spreading our attention wisely can have similar impacts. Some attention roots us in fear and paralysis. Other forms of attention expand our capacity for love and for hope. That type of paying attention, the type that grows our capacity to love, doesn't happen on social media. The attention that builds our resilience and expands our hearts comes from listening to our neighbors and loved ones, hearing real stories of real struggle to take the next step, and noticing every time that a little bit of hope shines through. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness, is a saying that's often associated with Eleanor Roosevelt for championing human rights and starting the United Nations. The actual source of that deep wisdom is uncertain. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. I want to close this sermon with that sentiment. I'm not advocating naive optimism, but our faith leads us to side with love, to nurture hope, and to honor the dignity, the spark of the sacred that is in each of our neighbors, especially in the darkest of times. We do that by building up rather than tearing down. We keep our chalice lit now, not because it's easy, but because it is needed. It is always better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Amen. Our closing hymn today is in your green hymnals. It is, by sheer coincidence and magic, thanks to Amelia, The Fire of Commitment. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join in singing number 1028, The Fire of Commitment.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet
You may be seated.
And we conclude our service by extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish our chalice, but not the light of love and community we carry in our hearts.
We are all inheritors of a tremendous legacy, a chalice ignited long before we were born. For those who came before us here, we offer gratitude and thanks. Let us be inspired by their courage, their dreams, and their generosity. Let us honor their living boldly, their loving mightily, and creating heaven here on earth however we can. Friends, go in peace. Let the light within you be a blessing to the world.
Hi. You did what? What is your name? Kid? One of our Girl Scouts or a leader?